I started learning English from zero just a year ago. So when I first started learning English, I had no idea what English is because I had never looked at it as a language, but I always looked at it as a subject. So back in school, we used to have one subject in English, which we used to call English subjects. So that's how everything began. Hey everyone, this is Samya and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, my journey of learning English began when I got into university. So, even after getting admission in university, after a few months later, I realized that I'm studying something which may not help me to get what I have always dreamed for. Because I always want to do something different and big in my life. I literally don't know what I'm actually going to do. But deep down, I know that I have to do something different, and I knew it very well that whatever I'm studying may not help me to do what I have always dreamed for. So let's come back to the story. I knew that just by getting degree will not help me to achieve what I meant for or what I have always dreamed for. And at that time, I did not have any skill which is required in today's world. And suddenly something clicked in my mind that I don't even know English, and it is one of the common thing we all must know because English became a global language now, and every single must know English if you want to do something different or if you want to get better opportunity in my life. Back then I used to have only one thing in my mind is that if I don't know English, then I won't be able to get something different or I won't be able to get better opportunity in my life. So finally I decided that I am going to learn English no matter what. But there were lots of questions I used to have in my mind is that will I ever be able to speak English fluently? Or how am I supposed to learn English because I have never studied English back in school? And there were lots of questions which used to constantly bother me and daunt me completely. Furthermore, I did not have anybody who could have guided me what to learn in English and where to begin and even how to learn English. In addition, I had one major issue is that when I first started learning English, I was not even able to understand English. Although I could have read English because back in school I learned how to read in English, but I did not know the meaning of anything in English except of very few words. I first decided to watch in English, and by God, it was terrible. Literally, I cannot even put it in words how exactly I felt. I just watched very few minutes in English. I was like, let me start learning this language just by watching. And it just made me extremely overwhelmed. For me, they looked like alien to me, and they were speaking in a language which I was not familiar with. And I was like, what are they talking about? I don't know anything about it. At the very beginning, I was only able to watch just for 10 to 15 minutes, and it was really exhausting, tiring, overwhelming. I can't even put it in words how exactly I used to feel. But then gradually I started increasing my watch time, and after a month later I started watching for hours. And it is not something I was understanding everything. No, I think I was only able to understand very few words, but still I was enjoying the process. And I used to motivate myself by saying that you are gradually learning this language. If you would watch this video for hours, then definitely you are going to fluent in English one day. And that's how I used to be consistent. While I was watching videos, I did not only listen what they were talking and what kind of words they were using during the conversation, but I was also noticing the way they were speaking. Because every single person has different style of speaking. I can't say style, but the way they speak, the kind of modulation they bring to their voice, the kind of gesture they use, everything was amazing. And gradually I started adapting them, and I started using while I was speaking. Just by following this one step, I killed two birds with one stone. And by saying that, I mean I did not only become comfortable in the language while watching videos, but I also improved myself as a person, and I also improved my speaking skill. So while I was following this process, I started reading simultaneously. But to be honest, I used to hate reading because most of the words were going over my head and it used to irritate me a lot. But I had to read in English anyway. So what exactly I used to do? While I was watching videos, it made me comfortable in the language, but just by following this process, which is reading, It helped me a lot to understand the context. It also helped me to reinforce all the vocabulary which I had learned. So whenever I decided to read in English, I used to sit with a piece of paper and a dictionary. So what exactly I used to do? I used to read that paragraph first and then marked all the words which I could not understand. And then I used to write them down in a piece of paper and found the meaning. And after that, I used to read that paragraph again. So it was a lengthy process actually, and it was really actually tiring. To be honest, I used to struggle with it a lot, but still I had to do it because I had promised to myself that I am going to learn English no matter what. I still remember there were days when I was not motivated at all to study because I was completely exhausted because of the process. I did not want to move forward. I just felt I want to give up. But what exactly I did, I memorized some of the motivational quote which I used to repeat to myself whenever I was low or whenever I felt like giving up. And it worked for me. It really helped me a lot to move forward and keep going even on difficult days. So that's how I became comfortable in the language, and that's how I built the habit of reading books. I followed one more technique which has taken my English to the next level. I journal every day. I think I have been journaling from the day when I started learning English. Actually, a lot of people neglect journaling because they think it's a tiring work or it consumes a lot of time. But it's not actually. You don't have to write a formal paragraph or a formal letter where you have to take care of every single word of yours or whether you are using proper grammar or not. We don't have to actually do that. You just have to write few lines or just a page, and it hardly takes 10 minutes. It is one of the effective and best way I have found to improve my English, and it is an underrated work that nobody actually talks about. I would highly recommend you to start journaling just for a month. You don't have to do it for a long time, and after a month later, if you found that you did not improve at all or it did not work for you, you can stop doing this right there. This is my personal experience. That's why I am highly recommending you to go and try this out just for a month. So after following given steps, I was able to construct few sentences in English. Although I was speaking broken English, but at least I was able to construct few sentences. I was able to deliver my message even though I was speaking very terrible. But I was satisfied with it because it was one of the biggest achievement for me. You can imagine a person who has never learned English or even studied English back in school now started speaking in English. It was really amazing. I can't even express how exactly I used to feel at that time. Now all the flashbacks started coming in my mind, and it is really mesmerizing because my consistency and my hard work actually paid me off. For me, I did not struggle to speak in English that much, although I have never studied English back in school. But I just followed few steps continuously, such as listening, reading and writing, and speaking became quite easier for me. I was just putting my efforts with consistency without having delayed ever. There's one more thing I would like to mention which may help you to be consistent while learning English. So what exactly happened? While I was learning English, there were days when I did not want to study at all. When I did not want to follow my routine of learning English, then I compensated for them. And by saying compensation, I mean if I did not study today due to some reason, the reason could be anything, such as you could not get time or you did not want to study. I know these are just excuses we make to ourselves. I did the same thing. So if you did something like that, you will have to compensate for it no matter what. So let me give you an example what exactly I'm trying to say. So if you have decided to read in English for 10 minutes today, and you have also decided to watch in English for 10 minutes today, and if you don't do them, then you will have to do 20 minutes tomorrow. So if you did not read books 10 minutes today, then you will have to read 20 minutes tomorrow. So this is the best way not to procrastinate while learning English. I have followed this technique multiple times, and I think every single day I followed it because I did not want to repeat the process over and over again, and it has helped me a lot to be consistent. So this is how I learned English. My steps and process were very simple. It's just that I followed them with consistency, and the rest is in front of you. So if you have also decided to learn English, regardless of whether you are a beginner or an intermediate English learner, does not matter. If you have decided, then you will have to start following all the steps right now. And don't forget to be consistent, because it is the key to learn any language. So that's all I had to say. I hope you found this video helpful and you enjoyed the video. And if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because it means a lot to me. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.